How did the preseason go? How did you feel the team played and progress coming along?
Well, I think the season from the first day started off quite well. We came in fitter than we had been in years previous, so I was pleased with that, so we could spend more time on actual gameplay and tactics. I think the results didn't indicate our performance, so I was pleased with the performance of our teams, but maybe not the scoreline. I think we gave up some goals that I think we wish we had back, and missed a couple that were maybe on any other given day we would have scored. So on the whole, pleased, not satisfied, but pleased.
Yeah. Were you seeing progress throughout the preseason, getting ready for the regular season?
Yes, and we played some pretty good competition down in California, so I think unless you actually see your team stressed, it's difficult to tell how we'd respond. So I think by the time we finished the California road trip, I thought we played quite well in our final game. But overall, it's going to be one of those situations where we've got a lot of new players that are all vying for spots. So that blending process is starting to take effect, and I think there's some good kids in the mix.
How important is it to have these road trips where you can kind of bond as a team well before the season starts?
Well, it's super important. If you just go in cold turkey, in terms of reliability from a coaching perspective, you get to see players in a number of different positions, as well as they get a chance to bond with each other and understand how each other play and what their strengths and weaknesses are. So overall, preseason is tiring, but it's certainly worth the effort and the time to do so.
All right, let's just kind of go through your team and position kind of by position. From the goaltender on out, I guess, start at the goaltender. Where do you feel that position's at for your team?
Well, there's no clear-cut dominant person at this point. All three keepers have performed well. Andrew Cowan and Andrew Fink have battled hammer and tongs, so they're both good keepers at the CIS level. Both have strengths, and so I think it'll be a week-to-week basis in terms of who gets the nod.
Okay, how about the defenders?
Well, you don't want to talk about what we're missing from over last year, but I think some players have stepped up, and I think we have a very solid back line. Unfortunately, Jake got injured in his first 7 minutes against Seattle Pacific, so he's a hole that'll be felt, but other players have stepped up, and that's what having a strong roster is all about. So I think that we have a lot of depth in our back line, and a lot of players that can step in and play right now.
What about filling the role of Paul Hamilton last year?
Well, really, how do you replace the MVP? But by the same token, a lot of these players have been waiting in the wings for their chance, and this is their opportunity. And I think with good communication and good understanding with each other, and understand how we want to play, and them executing that, I think that we'll be fine.
Yeah. Now, what about your midfielders? Where are those guys at?
Well, we have a number of good players. Still some question marks on him in terms of Goran Vidic, how long he'll last, or but all signs show that he's back, he's healthy, and he's been a tremendous asset, not just in terms of his technical ability, but his ability to deliver in the moment. So he's a strong leader in that regard. We picked up a couple of young players. Chase Wickham looks to be an exciting young prospect, and we've used Liam McAllister in the midfield, where he had only ever played in the back line for us before. So we have a lot of different ways of looking at our lineup, and again, I think the best teams have strong competition, and that's what we have. Yanni will be coming back from a leg injury from last year, so he's an attacking mindset. Has an attacking mindset as a midfielder. We have a lot of weapons that I think can move us forward.
And finally, your forward unit.
Well, replacing the goals Nathan Pogue has scored over the last couple of years is a daunting task. Mm-hmm. However, I think being able to rely on I think an improved overall athletic team, where we don't have a single dimension in how we play. Like, I think that we can play a number of different formations and styles, so we don't become predictable. I think will be an advantage for us, and I think we've got some players that can play in a number of different roles. And it seems that we have an appetite to score goals from a lot of different positions. So we're missing two vital components from last year, but by the same token, we've got good players that have been waiting for an opportunity.
Now talk a little about your recruits. What do you like about this recruiting class, and are there guys that can step right into the starting role at all?
Yep. We've got as good a recruiting class as I think I've seen in quite a while. A lot of depth, but the one thing that I think that we really paid attention to in bringing players in is character, and they are of the right mindset to improve a team, not 2 years from now, but right now. We've got a lot of balance, a lot of depth. You know, a couple of the young ones have already placed their stamp on the team in Chase Wickham and Denny Serafovich, who I really rate highly as players that will be banner carriers for us down the road. But you know, everybody's in the mix, and I think the best thing about our team is that on any given week we can change the squad based on how they've trained through the week. Some players will be disappointed by not being in the roster, whereas before they kind of knew their place. This year's not like that. We have from top to bottom we're stronger overall.
Yeah. What's the feeling with this team going into the season? I mean, last year you guys finished third. What's kind of the feeling amongst the players?
They got a taste of it at home last year, and I think the taste that they were left was not good enough. They want more. They want to get to the final. Not to say that last year was a disappointment, because I thought the adversity that we had to battle through the end of the year last year took a special character, but you know, the appetite to move forward and to play for each other and to play hard and sharpen each other has really improved significantly over last year.
Yeah. Now, overall, what would be maybe like the key or one or two keys for you guys to actually have success this year?
Well, and you know, through the preseason, the ability not to beat ourselves, I think, is going to be a big thing. I think none of the teams down in California outplayed us, but you know, it's little minor mistakes that lead to goals against. I think that's part of it, and that's the sign of a young team, a team that wants to do well. Will overcome that. The other piece is can we get goals from different areas of the field. Last year we were pretty single dimension in how we scored. It was over the top and fast and hard. This year we want to be a bit more calculating in our passing, and hopefully we can break teams down a little bit better than we did last year.
Now you guys open up against UBC at UBC. They were the top team in the regular season. What's your thoughts on that game opening up?
Daunting. They picked up some great players. They should be the class of the league. However, every team has an Achilles heel. You know, and I think our strength is their weakness. So hopefully we can find those little bits that we need to put together and go and play hard against them. And part of it is not being sort of intimidated by their swagger, because they believe in themselves, and so I think for us it's going to be about us and how we respond to those challenges.